Guys, in case you can't tell, I have literally just landed back in Sydney, come straight to the buy round to record this message, and what I would give for a body protection like NordVPN. Maybe the hair wouldn't be all over the place, the clothes feeling dirty, but thankfully, thanks to NordVPN, I don't have these issues with my technology, my tablet, my phone, my laptop when I am overseas and traveling abroad. What a lifesaver it is when you are overseas and you are dealing with banking issues here in Australia. Maybe you want to watch a bit of NRL. We know the Pacific Championships are on. Well, all I needed to do, bang my NordVPN on, switch my location to Australia, especially for banking, but you know, I do like my Rugby League as well. So that was super important. You know, these dodgy cafe Wi-Fis, the hotel Wi-Fis, can they be trusted? Well, NordVPN takes care of all that for you. At NordVPN, they do go above and beyond. You get protection on up to 10 devices. I mean, I don't know quite who needs that. Maybe you share it around with a few friends or family. If you're an individual that's got 10 devices that need protecting, then I've got some questions for you, my friend. Also, little trick for those of you looking at doing some traveling, get on NordVPN, switch your location, check out those compare websites for flights, trains, hotels. You might just save a few quid, dollars, whatever, lira, because I know I just did. I can hear some of you saying now, Jimmy, I live in a little bubble here in Australia. Don't really like to venture too far. You know, maybe one bridge in Sydney, two bridges in Sydney. Definitely not going over to England. Why would I want to go there? It's freezing. I don't know. I don't need a VPN. Well, maybe you do, because it's also got threat protection, blocking viruses, dodgy websites before they get near you, premium cyber security for basically the cost of a cup of coffee a month. Honestly, if you travel or on public Wi-Fi, it is a no-brainer. So to get the very best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/JamesGraham. Our link will also give you 4 free months on the 2-year plan. There is no risk with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Our link is in the podcast notes below. Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Buy Round. I'm your host, James Graham, joined by Charlie White. Now, Charlie, normally we go a bit back and forth. We've got plenty to get stuck into around what's been happening with each other, but we have to just kick things off with the bombshell move. Zac Lomax released 1 year into his 4-year deal. It has R360 written all over it. The reaction, you did a podcast with a couple of journalists today, so you probably know a little bit more information trickling through. I'm stunned that the Eels have let him go. Yeah. That was my initial reaction, stunned.
It does seem crazy. There are some clauses in there that when you hear them, it started to make a bit more sense. Now, there's a transfer fee as part of this. So one of the clauses in this release is if a team comes in for him, whether that be a Japanese rugby side, you know, a rugby union side, R360, they have to pay a transfer fee to Parramatta Eels in order to get access to Zac Lomax. So that's one of the clauses in there.
Do we know the figures?
We don't know the figure on that, but I can tell you on figures, Zac Lomax is on $700,000 a year at Parramatta. So it does free up some cap space for them. And the name that they might try and get this year, or 2026, I should say, is Nelson Asofa-Solomona. Now, a lot of people expected him to go to R360, but that's not certain now, and it looks like he could potentially end up in Parramatta. Jason Riles has a great relationship with him from their time together at Melbourne Storm. He's obviously a free agent with no club at the moment, so they can get him in straight away.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Just to interject quickly, did they need Zac's money for Nelson? Because I was under the assumption that they had some cap space.
I don't think they had enough for Nelson Asofa-Solomona. And they've also got their eye on Keon Koloamatangi for 2027, and freeing up that money helps them get him. They've obviously brought in Pezzett for this year as well, for 2026, I should say, not this year. So, there's a lot of different moves they can make with that. But the reality is Jason Riles didn't want a player who wasn't committed to them. And Zac Lomax had asked for a release. And Jason Riles has been really firm in all his decisions he's made. Made a lot of big calls. And this is another big call. Yeah, well, when you put it like that, I understand. Like, hey, we don't want you unless you're committed. I mean, the counter argument to that is Zac didn't want to be at the Dragons and probably had his best year of his career.
So Zac is a person that, despite having his head turned, has put in performances. That year at the Dragons, it got him, he was playing a position that he didn't want to play. That got him New South Wales honours and Australian honours. This opportunity has come along for Zac Lomax, but he's under contract, and maybe there's something there around. He was signed as a centre, obviously playing on the wing, whether Parramatta don't see the value in paying a winger that much money. But that said, he was impacting the result.
He makes them better.
Without
question. And he would have been on that Kangaroos tour if he was fit. He ruled himself out of the Kangaroos tour.
Obviously, because this was coming, and obviously the return to pre-season training. When talk of this R360 competition coming in, listening to Peter V'landers, Andrew Abdo, they were very dismissive of it. Then they've come with this 10-year, effective a 10-year ban for those players that do go and sign. It was probably more alarming the fact that there was it was probably more backing up the cases of or the comments of Peter V'landers saying, this isn't a competition. It's designed
cornflakes competition.
Cornflakes competition. That's what I'm looking for. But more so the fact that no rugby union players have signed up, and the sanctions that rugby union would put on the players.
Now, Reedy thinks that will happen. Reedy thinks that Brent Reid, I shouldn't call him Reedy, Brent Reid, he thinks the rugby union names will come. However, the rugby union players are waiting for the international schedule to come out for next year. So they're more cautious to make the leap because they want to know the timings of everything. They've also got their eye on that World Cup as well. And that World Cup is a huge carrot to some of those bigger names. So they might...
That's prestige.
Yeah, they might be looking
more than money.
Yeah, exactly. So they might be... That 2027 World Cup's in Australia... They would maybe be looking to come after the World Cup. Some of those top tier rugby union players.
Yeah.
But those rugby union players that probably won't make the international squad, those names will come. They'll be coming soon.
It's an interesting one, the R360.
Yeah. Peter V'landers is going to personally call Payne Haas and try and get him to stay. Payne Haas is on holiday at the moment in Fiji and hasn't got service where he is, but Peter V'landers is going to call him. And try and get him to stay because he actually thinks that these players are being, are almost being used and they're not. It's all going to fall on its face. Basically, is what Peter V'landers thinks. These rugby league players have signed up to it. Ryan Papenhuyzen, Zac Lomax, and we should say that they're not confirmed to have signed there, but the writing's on the wall. Ryan Papenhuyzen walked away from $1 million deal.
Yeah,
you're not going to walk away from that unless you've got something there.
Well, also, what is going to fill their time in 2026? You've got to imagine that for Zac Lomax and Ryan Papenhuyzen to walk in and formally ask for a release. Look, if that's me, and look, I get it as a player. I moved competitions. I traded the Super League in for the NRL, for the best league in the world, for... was it a better financial package? I mean, not at first, no.
Cheaper rent in Liverpool probably as well, or wherever you were living, St Helens.
Yeah, look, look. When I look back, the finances, it probably would have meant, probably more in England at the time with a testimonial. But look, the law of coming here. So I've done that. So I get getting your head turned by a different competition, but. Obviously, the NRL, a very stable competition, not new kids on the block. But so I understand how players get their head turned. But my immediate question, if that is me in their shoes, is, for 2026, I'm walking away from $700,000 for Zac Lomax, $1 million for Ryan Papenhuyzen, plus the unknown. I'm going to want double that up front because you're risking a lot. You're risking your reputation, and you're risking obviously your future. And what are you going to do for 12 months?
Well, if you're getting that,
stay fit, get paid to stay fit.
Stay fit, play golf. Ryan Papenhuyzen does a podcast. Keep doing the podcast with Munster. And
I wonder if R360 would entertain them playing a season in France, Japan, and even if those clubs would be entertaining of that.
And would then the rugby competitions allow that as well?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's the same thing as the NRL.
Well, they would likely step in and say no.
Should say that Lomax, there's a clause in this release as well where he can't sign for an NRL club. So,
well, that's fair.
So potentially we've seen Zac Lomax play his last game of rugby league ever, if the 10-year ban's a real thing.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because, I mean, he's been such a talent. The really last couple of years have been great for him. But R360, mate, this threat is real. And we've got a roundtable episode dedicated to R360 coming out on Thursday.
Yes, we do.
Which will be great. Obviously, that's the usual crew. Matt Cameron, yourself, Buzz Rothfield, Anthony Seibold. So great crew on that. But it's a real threat now.
It is a real threat. And obviously we're going to dive into that and see with the potential of this competition, whether or not the NRL need to sort of get into bed with R360, look for a way for players to potentially do both.
Yeah, like they used to do with the NRL and the Super League back in the day. But the reality is we need 60 new players in the next 3 years.
Yes, we do.
30 new players for 2027 for the Perth Bears, and the year after that, 30 more players for the PNG. What's the new name? I forgot what it's called. Hunters. Is it the PNG Hunters?
Yeah, I don't know if that's
PNG Chiefs. Sorry, PNG Chiefs.
Yeah, but there is I think there's a challenge to that because the Chiefs have a team in rugby union.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah.
I don't know if that's going to get the full go ahead, but I'm really surprised. I'm more surprised at the Eels for allowing this to happen, what that transfer fee is, and also the NRL not getting up the Eels and saying no, don't let him go.
But I think that if they can bring in a player like Nelson, maybe that suits them as well. And the other one, Parramatta, which is interesting, is Ryan Madison. What happens with him? Most people think he's played his last game for Parramatta. They don't really want to bring him back.
Well, he went on loan to Warrington,
and now he's back.
And now he's back here in Australia.
They're trying to find a club for him, someone that will take him. But if they get rid of him, they've got a fair bit of money for this year. I don't know who they're going to spend it on, but there's always players that come up. Yeah. You know, even during the season, you look at what happened this year with Brandon Smith becoming available halfway through the year. There's going to be players that come up available. If they can get Nelson and then keep some of that money, because Nelson's not going to get that huge freight that he's on. He's probably more of a $500,000 a year player, you'd imagine, rather than that $700,000, $800,000.
Well, I think he was on close to $1 million.
Yeah, but do you reckon he's still worth that?
Unfortunately, he's probably too tall
for the game of league.
For the game of league as it stands.
Yeah.
He's probably too tall.
Yeah.
So, look, I think you've got to factor in that Nelson with the sheer size of the human, the way he plays. You know, do you factor in 4 weeks of unavailability?
Yeah, you have to.
Like you probably you know, if you're doing those calculations, really, you've got to.
But Riles is the kind of guy that could probably get the best out of him. Nelson's, by all accounts, is a bit of a different sort of operator. So if he's got someone there who he trusts with 100%, you know,
I've got you, yeah.
And
he's come from Coach Bellamy.
I know, but Riles and him are really close. And Bellamy and him, that relationship had sort of started to deteriorate over the years, obviously. I think Bellamy was getting sick of him getting suspended, making some dumb plays. In the press conference, he came out and sort of was critical of Nelson at times. You know, maybe he goes in there and Riles can get the best out of him.
And gives him maybe the freedom to box and pursue other interests.
Well, that's something he also wants to do is pursue boxing. And he's that's something he could do this year. Like Nelson, no one really knows what he wants to do just yet. He could just end up going to R360, spend this year boxing and go to R360.
Or is there a bare knuckle comp happening? I'm not sure.
Jesus. You wouldn't want to be doing that. No way.
What, against him or
against him? Or you've seen the video of him. Do you remember the video of him in Bali?
God, yeah.
Where if that punch landed, it would have killed that poor bloke. If it landed.
It likely would have.
No, we wouldn't want to fight Nelson. But back to the R360 stuff. The worry is these are 3 names who are going to be sort of the mavericks who have made the call. Ryan Papenhuyzen, Zac Lomax, and likely Payne Haas.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck,
another name. They're the big ones. But the worry is next year, the players off contract, if it's a success for these guys going and they get their money and everyone gets paid and it's all legit, then are they going to start taking 10 to 15 players every year? And then what can the NRL do? Because, mate, if Payne Haas goes and I'm an elite rugby league player, I'm going to be calling Payne Haas, like, mate, what's the go? What are you actually getting paid? How does it work? The payments. And then if it's tax-free as well, and if it's $3 million a year tax-free, it's basically a $6 million a year salary. We're talking about the elite players getting their salary quadrupled.
Yeah. Well, you know, obviously the Chiefs, as they're going to be known, they're going to offer tax-free incentives as well. Obviously, but it is probably, respectfully speaking, living in PNG versus having to live somewhere that has those tax-free incentives.
But again, for $3 million tax, if you do pay the tax on it, you can live in Australia. You can pay the tax on it, and you're still getting your salary doubled.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. It's look, it's a very attractive proposition, but it seems like it's legit, but they've still got some work to go. They've still got some work to go. R360, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, it's the threat is real.
You wonder if they have been given some money up front though.
They'd have to,
Lomax
Charlie. It's not an if. They have been. Yeah. They have to have been. And this fee that will be coming to Parramatta, that is coming. If they've not already received it.
You know what the NRL should do now is, what the biggest carrot the best time to sort of get R360 clauses into players' contracts. If you think this might become a threat in the next 5-10 years, a really true threat, then you go to the junior kids, the young players coming through, and put R360 clauses in the contract where if you sign this first NRL deal, you can't leave for R360 for the next 10 years, 15 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Put that stuff in the contract.
Ooh.
Like a non-compete. It's basically a non-compete clause. That's quite common in most employment.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be one for employment lawyers to tackle.
But that's the time you lock them in, because what's the biggest carrot for a junior playing rugby league? The players that want to get R360 are going to be players who have
established.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah. Do you reckon Jai Gray's kicking himself?
Well, yeah. He's re-signed, hasn't he? He's re-signed, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one to see. Look, if this gets off the ground, like what the NRL as a competition do.
Yeah.
We've seen sport change drastically. We look at golf, how that's changed as a sport, the growth of a sport like darts. For those of you what we see now, there used to be a different darts competition that was ahead of that. It was at the Lakeside each and every year. They started to poach like people like Phil the Power Taylor, and then it's gone gangbusters with the Cairns and Sky behind that. But that's not how it always was. Believe you me, it was a 2-week comp at a place called the Lakeside. I think it was the BDO. It was called.
Bobby, you had to be quiet. The crowd had to be quiet, didn't they?
The crowd had to be like best of order now. But like if you made a noise, even for 260s about to throw 180, it was like shh, be quiet. Like don't respect the players. Obviously with what's happened with golf. One thing I'd like to say on this is it's a compliment to our competition that a rugby union breakaway has come and recognised that we do have some of the best athletes in the world, that people like Payne Haas, Zac Lomax, Ryan Pappenhausen can light this up. I think this competition has begun because of the state of rugby union at clubland. We've seen in England a number of clubs go bust. You know, the state of it here in Australia isn't exactly banging down the door on the sporting stage. So I think club rugby for rugby union does need a shake up, and maybe this is what it is, and maybe it's a compliment, and it'll be interesting to see how the reaction from the rugby union clubs and countries when the big stars of rugby union get poached.
Yeah, and I found out today it's not Saudi Arabian money. In my eyes, it was Saudi money, and it was an endless pot of money, but Brent Reid told me, no, it's not. That's not the case. It's a private equity company that's come in and obviously partnered up with Mike Tyndall to try and make it all happen. What are rugby going to do? What are the NRL going to do? The 10-year ban. I like it. Like now, the more I think about it, I like it. You've got to have something to stop these players from going.
Yeah.
Because if you're losing 20, 30 players a year, like that's how bad it could get if the competition is successful. Because right now, the way we're looking at it, it's not even a real thing. We've potentially lost the best winger in the game and the best front rower in the game. And
I think Xavier Coates might have something to say about that.
Brian Toto as well, but he's one of the best wingers in the game, the best front rower in the game, one of the best fullbacks in the game for a competition that has no leg to stand on at the moment.
Yeah.
What's the case after 2 years?
Yeah.
3 years, 4 years,
the
5
worry
years.
is, you what they would throw at someone like Reece Walsh. Because with the players that let's assume they've acquired in Haas, Lomax, Pappenhausen, like respectfully, I think there's going to be interest there for this what I'm calling like a circuit. You got a level of intrigue, but maybe like if it's not good footy, you're probably not going to watch after 2-3 weeks. You're just going to see it. Like let's be honest.
After round one, mate.
If it's rugby union in its current state, look, you've obviously got your previous rugby audience, but let's look at NRL audience, which the likely is a target there. Or if it's the same as what rugby union is, there's no tribalism. Like it's going to be hard to get people to continue to watch. People watch Leinster, Bath, Toulon and they watch France, Argentina, England, Australia, New Zealand, the All Blacks, because there's history, there's an attachment there where this does seem like it's a bit more of a circuit style thing to watch individuals and individual sports. And, people are a fan of like LeBron James or Steph Curry or Ronaldo, and I don't know if that's got that much legs, but from an NRL point of view, there are a few players that we have up our sleeves that people love to watch. And look, I'm a big fan of Payne Haas, Zach, and Ryan Pappenhausen, but it's the Walshes and the Clearys that you go, like they would. I think people would be Reece Walsh fans.
Yeah,
I think people would be Nathan. I don't.
Mate,
you
as
love
a front
Payne
rower,
Haas.
that's a disgrace. That you
No,
said
I
I
love Payne Haas, but I don't think there's a fan out there that go, oh yeah, I'm a Payne Haas fan.
I love Payne Haas. I love watching Payne Haas. Payne Haas is one of my favourite players to watch in the game.
Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe I'm wrong.
Like people love those middles, those front rows. Like as a front rower, people love watching you. People love watching you.
But they also hated me because I played for the Dogs, and we've still got that tribalism.
That hate is what makes you want to watch as well.
Yeah,
Power
maybe.
of hate. Like I'll tell you what, I'm with you though. For round one, you're going to watch it just to see what it is, especially if there's a fair chunk of NRL players, and I'm definitely going to watch it. Then after that, if it's shit, it's shit.
Yeah.
It's like, and I get the tribalism stuff you're saying, but do you reckon that can be built over time as well?
Well, yeah,
like you can become a Ferrari fan in Formula One. You can become a Mercedes fan. In like,
do people act that way?
Well, they are. There's fans of Formula One. I don't watch Formula One. For me, it's just watching people go around in a circle over and over again. There's nothing that exciting. Oh, he's overtaken him on the chicane.
Yeah.
The chicane, and I don't really get it.
Where look, they could really capitalise, and it's the human interest story. And with this breakaway competition, you'd be foolish to think they're not looking at a documentary series to one of the main providers. We've done our Tales of Tiger Town, which was great, but it was fed to a rugby league audience. So this could go. This has the capacity to go far-reaching outside of a traditional rugby or rugby league audience or sporting audience even. That has drawn a lot of... That's what Drive to Survive has done, is brought in new fans that traditionally don't particularly watch sport. It's become human interest. Even like things like Sunderland Till I Die, that brought eyeballs to Sunderland that people didn't care about this city in the northeast of England. But then they did because of the the documentary, and obviously they're going really well now. So I still think, looking at NRL, how we can capitalise, I still think we need to get a documentary series that goes global and don't restrict it. Look, Tales of Tiger Town was awesome. The Dolphins one was awesome, but it was going to people that already like league.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't going to.
And it was on, and everyone's watching on Fox League, a dedicated rugby league channel.
Yeah, you're on there to watch the footy, but
if you had to, you almost need to like manufacture some scandal, like. Don't know. You need to pick like players who are going to be a bit looser because you want all the drama involved as well. Like because you need some of that off-field drama to help sell the story a little bit as well.
And where where the media is going, it's. I was so pleased with how engaging the Australian players were with the English fans. They did so much for the English game. Like there was kids there after the game, like. I've been in some of those games, like Four Nations or games against Australia. Australia win, and people just leave the stadium. I think Four Nations in 2010 or 2011 we lost, and most English fans would leave. Australia lift the cup. There's a handful of Aussies there. Mate, there was like thousands waiting. Wow. Like the Australian players did so much, but. The only criticism is I know, like, the stars were not given to the media, and we've seen people like Latrell Mitchell going on a media ban, but he's so giving with his time to on a personal level, which you love. And Reece Walsh, I can't congratulate Reece Walsh enough for what he did for English kids. Like he has no obligation to do that, like no obligation whatsoever. It's not part of his deal. He doesn't need to grow the game in England, but it would have been great to see him talking to the media,
100%.
Which unfortunately I didn't witness.
Yeah,
but
he does. He's on that media ban. His manager, that Nash Dawson bloke, hates him doing media. Cancels podcasts that he's meant to go on. Gets involved. It's like let the man get out and about. Let him be there. I don't know why they let players like him.
Probably because there's an exclusivity thing coming, isn't it? Like
who cares? It's like he's a player. He should be out there. Especially something like that where you're trying to promote the game and all that sort of stuff. But
he did.
I'm sure he did.
So
I'm sure he did.
But media helps. Level,
but media helps,
and it's going to change.
And also, like Origin, that was so ridiculous. The two most interesting players, Spencer Leniu and Latrell Mitchell, were not doing any media. It was crazy.
It was.
Anyway, I got sidetracked then. You've just come back from Cairns, which is just great to see. This is actually the first time seeing each other in real life since England.
Yes. Yeah. No, we saw each other when I came into...
That's right. NordVPN, actually, which we should shout out NordVPN. So they are partnering up with us, and we've got a special NordVPN code.
Yes, we do.
Go in the podcast show notes. Basically, it's nordvpn.com/James Graham.
Oh,
an incredible offer.
Not the buy round.
Not the buy round, just James Graham. It's an incredible offer. And the way that NordVPN judge the partnership is basically how many people sign up using the code. So if you do want to support the show, jump in and use that code to sign up.
And look, trust me, NordVPN, I used it while I was away. I've had VPNs before when I've been here in Australia to sort of get access to British television shows. Great when you're traveling, but even at home as well. Like the level of protection is outstanding. I signed up for a 2-year package. You sent me the free code, but I'd already done it.
You'd already done it. Yeah, that's how much you love it. I signed up as well before the free code came through, so I also paid for it. But it was great.
You know what? It's worth it.
I used it to watch the Pacific Championships while I was in England, actually. So which was great. So it's great.
Me too.
Good for banking, safety. And also, mate, the main thing is the safety as well, because you think about like the way the internet is these days, you can easily click on something, you got a virus, you got people tracking you, stealing bank codes, stealing passwords, all that sort of stuff. You use that, you're safe.
Yeah, exactly. And you think that the crooks don't operate here in Australia? Well, they do.
They're bloody everywhere.
They are, mate.
But no, good to see you back from Cairns.
Cairns, I was up there for Family of League race day, partnered by Ladbrokes and Cairns Jockey Club. They were outstanding, had such a wonderful time. I was there with Talisha Harden from NRLW, Cowboys player. She was telling me some really interesting news actually about it looks like the Cowboys NRLW team are going to relocate to Cairns and be based out of Cairns and sort of look to grow
Interesting.
that area. Really interesting.
So they'd be the only like professional.
Yeah, I think there is a basketball team there.
Oh yeah, the Cairns Taipans.
Yeah, the strategy is to move there in and around the Olympics. They're going to have their own training base.
Brilliant.
Like, you know, there's some girls that are a bit, a bit undecided whether it's good, it's bad. They've obviously got jobs in Townsville, but I think that's a great move. Alfie Lang and 8 Miles, brilliant. Like Alfie, basically, he's been in England for 2.5 weeks. He'd been on a trip around Wagga Wagga and
Wagga Wagga,
a few little and then flew in from Canberra, come straight on the tapes again.
Wow.
He was outstanding. And Nate Miles, we were talking about the Vaseline gate, and that was brilliant.
Yeah.
But big shout out to the Cairns Jockey Club, Ladbrokes, and Family of League. They were all amazing. Also, Reef Magic went out onto the Great Barrier Reef with the kids. What a time, mate! So they have this, like, I don't even know how it works. It looks, you put it on and it looks like you're in space, but it pumps the oxygen. You can walk down and like it is like scary stuff. But because you're underwater, but there's no oxygen mask on, but you've just got this big helmet.
Yeah.
So cool. But I did the old bought one of the little phone lock up things, and
so you can film your content.
Yeah,
you're a big social media guy.
Social media. Well, I thought I'm going underwater in the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah, I'll film it. Yeah.
I'll film it.
How is the coral looking as well? Coral's coming back to life. They're doing a lot to look after.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It is such a beautiful place up there, but I've got water damage to my phone, so gutting.
Yeah, well, maybe just next time leave your phone upstairs. You don't always need to be filming.
I know. It's as you would know, it's not me usually, Charlie.
No, every time we go get lunch at a cafe, you're taking pictures of it.
Yeah, I'm all about the story. I'm all about that, like filming everything. But it was so good up there. Had a great time at the race day. But on the way back, got to say, not a big fan of Jetstar and how they treat their customers.
Are they poor? Are they?
So. Flights at 9:05. Booked Jetstar at 9:05 because wanted to get back to do this podcast.
Yeah.
There was some other options with some alternative airlines. Virgin, Qantas.
Well, Qantas, I'll talk about Qantas after. You get it. Because Qantas wasn't, I've flown back from Qantas from England. Less than impressive.
Yeah.
I'd say.
So look, they get on the intercom, tell us, we're going to be delayed about an hour because of some weather issues in Sydney with the runway. Like, right, okay, you're like, fair enough, an hour we can do. And then, we were just about to get ready to go. It's, actually, we can't go because there's an issue with one of the toilet doors. Like, we've got to go back to the gate to get the maintenance people on to fix the toilet door. And we're like one toilet door. Like, we'll share a toilet. There's 2 toilets still available. Like, let's just crack on or put a knocking system in.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Honestly, there's so many ways.
Or get someone to like
people use your feet.
Or get someone to like get one of the the hostesses to just
man
be
the
there
door,
and just be like, sorry, there's someone in there, or put a sign up. Yeah. Anyway,
stick a piece of paper which you flip one side. There's so many different ways. So many different.
Anyway, ended up doing 3 hours on the tarmac.
Oh, yuck.
Between fixing it, and then in that 3 hours, they come round. They give us a cup of water.
Disgraceful.
A cup of water. Everyone's just like, what the hell? Anyway, then
you've already got a seat that's digging into your back. That's rubbish.
Then like
no Wi-Fi as well, because for some reason Qantas and Jetstar are so rubbish at giving you Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so we end up taking off, and then like everyone's busting for the toilet, and then because they shut the toilets as well because they had to redo the water systems. Then people are queuing for the toilets. They told us we had to sit down because they were doing the service. Didn't give anyone anything for like, a complimentary, like
it's
little
free
bit of
sandwiches
food.
all around.
You've been waiting patiently for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Then they closed the toilets and then they were getting up in arms that people actually needed the toilet. Then the toilet door that was broke, they closed that toilet anyway. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. We would have taken this ages ago. So anyway, not a big fan of Jetstar. It actually was almost to close the toilets on people.
Yeah.
After it was almost, I'm not going to say inhumane, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like,
it's almost then, all right, it's fine. You close it. I'm going to start pissing right now. So piss in the bottle. You guys can deal with
people
those.
got
You see
kids
fit.
and like people need changing babies' nappies.
Yeah.
But to not even give us something to go like, tide you over for a bit. One cup of water.
And mate, then they'll charge you fucking $20 for a sandwich. That's shite.
Yeah.
Or we'll give you a cup of noodles that costs us 50 cents, but we're going to charge you $7 for it.
$8 for a cup of noodles. Yeah.
Insane.
But
I had a terrible.
all in all, Cairns, I had a fantastic time.
Yeah.
Like the people at the jockey club, the racetrack, awesome. Ladbrokes was so good. Like 280 people. Got to give a big shout out to them. Like on a Sunday afternoon in Cairns, like that room, all for Family of League. Like so much money was raised. It was amazing. It really was. And I know you're gonna have a quick go at Qantas.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a go at Qantas as well. Yeah.
But I'll let you go because then we'll come back and talk about the talk.
Now, I fly Qantas a lot. We use it for work all the time. Funnily enough, when you fly for work, very helpful because you're flying under a big media company. Interesting, you get a lot of extra little bonuses then. Oh, can we change this flight? Yeah, it's easy to do. So I was flying back I did the Qantas London to Perth, which is actually amazing. Like
you went Heathrow
to Perth, which is actually really
20
good.
hours.
16 hours, mate. 16 hours. So you save a lot of time. So that's a good thing, Qantas. Well done for that. No Wi-Fi on planes still for Qantas internationally. I don't understand why when you fly every other airline international, even Fiji Airways, which is great supporters of the NRL, they've got Wi-Fi on their planes when we flew back with them.
It's a good time to switch off though.
Yeah. But it's also a nice way to kill a few hours. It's just scrolling. And like, that's a great way to kill a couple of hours is on TikTok, Instagram, just reels. Like
do you not use that time to just disconnect?
Well, by watching movies.
Yeah.
That's what I end up doing. I'm just watching movies.
Yeah, or podcasts, like the buy around
podcast.
Yeah, you could go back and listen to old episodes.
Like of myself and just like review myself.
Yeah, you're going well there.
No, but so that was actually pretty good. That was a good flight over. It was fine. But then when we got to Perth, Siobhan was on a flight half an hour before me for some reason, and I was on a flight half an hour later. So I had a look at her seat map. Seats everywhere. It's pretty much an empty plane she's on.
Yeah. Oh, is this from Perth to Sydney?
To Sydney. And I'm on the one after 30 minutes later, which is pretty much full. So we went to them and we said, oh, yeah, hey, there's heaps of seats. Can I swap and join her flight? And they were like, oh, we can't do anything here, so you have to call this number. Call this number. And then they said... well, first of all, actually, they ring someone to check if they can change it because they have the ability to do it if they want to. They ring someone and see if it's okay to change it. They say, no, you got to call this number. So I rang this number. They're like, oh, no, the flight's sold out. And I'm like, no, it's not. You can see online there's heaps of seats and you can even buy tickets online. Because I checked, you can buy tickets online. They're like, well, why don't you buy a seat then? I'm like, because I've already paid for a full seat. I'm on the flight that's half an hour later. You've got an empty plane. And they're like, well, it's going to cost us $500 to process that flight switch. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to pay $500. We're like, well, then too bad. You're going to stay on your flight. And I was like, all right. Siobhan gets on her plane. It's an empty plane, basically. She's got a whole row next to her free, rows and rows. And how rude they are as well about it. Like, to pretend it was sold out when it's not. When all you have to do is just change me to a flight that's half an hour beforehand. It's maddening. It's honestly maddening. Like they are such numpties. You're like, you used to be what made Australia great. Yeah. One of the great things we had an airline that never crashes. That's the gold standard of airlines, Qantas. Then slowly but surely, it's become worse and worse and worse. And now you can't even do something as simple as move someone half an hour earlier. You want to try and charge them $500 because you haven't made enough money paying people minimum wage, outsourcing everything that you do. You haven't made enough money. You need to charge people more who are already flying with your platform. It's a disgrace.
Yeah. Well, Charlie, I reckon, look, unfortunately, there's numpties out there. There's people that just can't assess the situation and go, you know what, just get on. Like you're on the plane anyway. You're not a security threat. We'll move you back. Like this is where poor customer service, unfortunately, AI is coming for you. Yeah. And I don't want to see people lose their jobs to AI. And like a good friend of mine at Amazon just told me that they've just, made a heap of people redundant and AI is going to take over. And we don't want to see it. But if you're not good at your job, then it's kind of... And
I reckon also for Qantas, it's more their company policies that put these people in the awkward positions. Well, and it's less the customer service. It's more the upper management that have these insane policies to try and bleed as much money as they can out of every single customer that comes through.
Well, I've probably got to say probably is. It's not the staff at Jetstar. It's the policy of like, you've been waiting for 3 hours. Like, use your common sense. You know what? Give us a bag of chips or something. Have an emergency stash. It's like, are you guys crazy?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Or have the policy of, you know what? If you've been waiting for an hour because of the runway, let's not fix the toilet door.
You know who AI is coming for? And I've worked this out now, as middle management. Because what's a middle management person's job? It's basically to make sure people are doing their jobs.
Yeah.
It's to make sure the work's being delivered. You've now got this stuff on Microsoft Teams, which is going to track how much people message to other colleagues, where they are messaging, all that sort of stuff, tracking their results. There's all this technology that's now being used to track employees and their output and what they actually do. So for any bludgers out there, like myself, it basically, they're going to... The technology is going to track how much you do. So why do you need like a manager who's tracking how much people do? That's who's going to get gone first in companies. And really, you have to be on the tools doing stuff in order to provide value to your company. So if you are a middle management, watch out. Watch out.
Or just make better decisions.
Yeah, or get on the tools.
Be a good people person.
Yeah.
Like that's what that like AI will never be able to replace people.
No,
people persons.
Vibe guys.
Yeah,
Vibe guys.
just people that are like in the like,
personality hires.
Yeah, and people that like persuasive people.
Yeah.
People that are the glue. They're never going to be able to replace that. So be a better person.
Exactly.
And have better policies.
Exactly. And if you're a Qantas employee, don't pretend that your flight's sold out just to end a phone call early when there's actually seats available.
Speaking of,
because it might come back to bite you.
It might come back to bite you.
And you've just been bit on the buy round.
Bit on the buy. Speaking of good people, the tour that I went on, the Rugby League Experience tour, like amazing crew, like so many cool people. Some people, first time they've ever left Australia. I think I'd spoken about this, but I've got to give a huge shout out to Craig Brown, the organizer, the generosity of that man. So we had a couple of sports lunches, one in England. There was two, one in St. Helens. So one of the raffle prizes, right? There was English and Australians there. It was at St. Helens. So they were raising funds for the St. Helens Academy tour to come out here. One of the raffle prizes, get this for a raffle prize. If you were English, you could fly out to Australia and I think watch the grand final.
Wow.
Or if you were Aussie, you could fly back to England and watch the English grand final.
Amazing.
And like this couple, like they won it. Like they were on our tour and they were like, shit, we're coming back. Like flights, accommodation. Yeah, that's awesome. Like how good is that? Like he donated that. He runs the travel company. He's donated that. And then we had another a fundraiser for Rugby League Cares, which is basically the family of league charity over in England, where they look after former players that are doing it tough. The raffle prize for that, one of the raffle prizes, the first prize was a trip for two, Las Vegas, to watch the season opener.
Wow.
Like flight accommodation. It's like for raffle prize where the cost of entry wasn't that big. Like it was honestly amazing. So big shout out to Craig Brown and the Rugby League Experience.
Are they doing some stuff for the World Cup next year as well?
Yes, they are. So they do trips to Vegas. They do Magic Round.
Yep.
Bringing out an English crew to the Rugby League World Cup.
Yeah.
Nice. Basically anything involved in rugby league and travel. They also, but funnily enough, he was telling me about like a different branch of his business, food experience. Like the proper
Michelin star.
Japan, France, like some of the exclusivity such are the exclusive, such exclusivity in some of these restaurants in France. You can't guarantee a seat at the table, but they go and they do all the how the wine's made, like proper small tours. But it's like bizarre that this world exists. But such a generous man, and congratulations for giving that up for some very, very important charities. It was awesome.
I'm glad you mentioned Magic Round because on Friday the full draw came out.
Yes,
obviously Canberra Raiders unfortunately missed out on Magic Round.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that.
Well, mate, the other thing that surprised me is Dolphins and Broncos away games for Magic Round.
Yeah, that's
such a rort.
It's not well. Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't seem right, that does it? But the Raiders, they're minor premiers. Like, if they keep on that, if they go well again, which there's no reason why they won't, like, they're going to be box office. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think we said it. That made the best game of Magic Round last year was Storm v Raiders, where the KO Weeks put that chip in and scored the try. I think we said on the podcast, the reward for the wooden spoon should be you miss out Magic Round. As in, like, the punishment for the spoon should be you miss out in Magic Round.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
that?
Yeah.
But anyway, the draw's out. Yeah. And so I've spent the afternoon today basically alongside ChatGPT putting in a few different situations and trying to build a strength of schedule draw.
Okay.
So basically the way I've done this is I've grouped how many times each team plays a top 4 side, a team in the 5th to 8th bracket, a team in the 9th to 13th bracket, and then the 9th to 12th, and then a team in the 13th to 17th bracket. So basically gives you a rough idea of how many times every team plays a top 4 side, top 8 side, blah, blah, blah. If you want this, we can email to you. Send us an email if you want to see the full breakdown. But basically, the Penrith Panthers are the hardest draw for 2026.
Really?
Yeah, by a fair way, mate. They play every top 4 team twice. 13 games against teams in the top 8, which is the most. They're alongside the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who have the second hardest schedule. The Panthers and the Rabbitohs also only play, not only do they play those top teams so much, they play the bottom 4 teams only once this season. And the team with the easiest draw, it's going to shock you, once again, it's the Cronulla Sharks. They play the top 8 teams 10 times, which is the least alongside the New Zealand Warriors and the Manly Seagulls, who also have very soft draws.
That said, though, if we were doing this time last year, if a team was to be playing the Raiders twice, they'd be going. Of course. So we don't know who.
This is purely based on what we know from 2025.
Yeah.
But it is the Panthers with the hardest draw, Bunnies second, Storm third, the Tigers fourth, unfortunately. But yeah, the Sharks, Warriors, and Seagulls, they've got the easiest draws for 2025, for 2026. But the other big thing then, Jimmy, that's come out of this is obviously now we're talking about shrinking the competition in terms of how many rounds we play in a standalone Origin period as well.
Yeah, this really caught me off guard because I've read the story and I was thinking back to the last CBA, and one of the sticking points is that the NRL wanted the flexibility to add 2 extra competition games without going to the Players Association. If it had gone 3, they would have. So it seems strange that they're going to reduce the number of competition games. It obviously means less broadcast money because there's an argument. I get the argument, trust me. I get the argument of less could be more. Once a year we get to see the blockbuster games, like the big derbies.
Yeah.
But
it's not as big a gap as you think it would be, though, because you have 10 games every week. 10 games every week, rather than we've got currently we have 8 games a week.
Yeah, but that said, like you bring these extra teams in the competition to provide more. We're never going to have a perfect draw. Even that, when you go, we play each side once. Well, there's a difference between playing New Zealand at home versus playing them away. So you're never going to get a true fair draw. There's always going to be advantages and disadvantages. But I think that gives us flexibility. That gives us the ability to put on things like Magic Round. Like you like it does. It opens up those avenues. And when I think it would be if our sporting competition, if our commission put this on, it would be going against pretty much what every other sporting code in the world is doing. Like most are bringing more competitions in. Look at like what FIFA and UEFA have done in football or soccer as it's known over here. Like they are ramping up the games. They've changed the structure of the Champions League to bring in more games, not necessarily better. In fact, you could worse. And there's still it gives more avenue for like players teams to make mistakes and lose games and still jagged their way into the comp. I was looking at the teams that have qualified for the FIFA World Cup in Canada, Mexico, and USA.
Oh, way too many teams.
Like way too many.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame
you know, but for them, it's about inclusion of more countries and more content, more games. Look at the FIFA World Club Challenge or the World Club Cup.
Yeah.
Like they're just putting more games. The pressure is coming on from the players, the football, so the players union, but they're not as strong. But there's just more, and it's like, when's it going to burst? I don't understand why the NRL would go the other way.
But it's not as big a gap in terms of number of games, especially if we had a standalone Origin period where you also then play a Pacific Championship, so you could even play during it. So you could have your Origin on Wednesday, then you could have Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday is Pacific Championships. You could have, games across that period as well. International. It doesn't even just have to be a Pacific Championship. You can get England involved in that.
Well,
you could get other teams involved in that.
Yeah.
You get Lebanon involved in that. There's ways of growing out that game.
Yeah.
You could have not only Origin, you could have City Country return. There's different things you can do to boost the number of the amount of content through the season.
I think it will go to a conference system, but I'd be surprised if they reduce it to a 19 round.
But, yeah, so 20 teams. This would be by 2030 as well. So 2030, the plan is to have 20 teams.
I can't see that happening. I can't see them going 19. I think they like I said, look at the last CBA negotiation. The NRL wanted the flexibility to not consult the players' union to bring in 2 extra games, not rounds.
Yeah. Well, the reality is they probably need to focus on this next broadcast deal first anyway and get that done.
Because that's the big obviously when they go to the broadcasters, they would want
a 2030 plan locked in.
Yeah, well, they'd have to. Yeah, they'd have to.
Is there talent for 3 more teams? So we've already got. So that would be we've got Perth and PNG coming in already guaranteed. Do you have to get another team in?
I mean, having an even number of teams is more ideal.
Does it really matter that much though? Like we have a bye currently. It's not that big a deal. Teams miss out. Like who cares if it's a bye?
It's not essential. I wouldn't say it's essential. And it's a nice round number, and teams don't have a bye in round 1, round 2, or the last round of the season. It alleviates that, but it's certainly not essential by any stretch.
Yeah,
and I reckon there will be, obviously with new teams coming in Perth who are yet to make an official signing. Obviously PNG can't, but I think it's going to be let's wait and see what happens with the 2 new teams coming in very, very soon.
They've officially missed out Perth on Cam Munster. Mal Meninga has come out and said that he's obviously going to be staying in Melbourne. Probably everyone expected that as well. Yeah. Once Jonah Pezzett left, everyone expected Cam Munster to stay, and that's been confirmed.
Yeah, I think that was once Pezzett moved on like that pretty much sealed that. So yeah.
Are you worried about Perth though that they haven't signed anyone yet? It's now November 17. We're recording this on. Like it's pretty. I'm a little bit worried. There's enough. You think they'd go out there and make a kill? Like I know they don't want to overpay, but there's some guys there you'd think you can entice someone to come over here.
Yeah. What probably hasn't helped is this R360 coming in.
Yeah.
Like anyone that's off contract now would be,
just keeping the powder dry a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, just waiting. Maybe I did play a few games of schoolboys. If you need a few players. That probably hasn't helped. But I reckon in terms of moving to 20 teams by whatever year it was,
2030.
2030
would be the plan, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon it will be dependent on that will be a reaction to Perth and the Papua New Guinean Chiefs.
Yeah. Because really, it's going to be hard for Perth. It's hard enough to recruit players like over to Perth anyway because of where it is geographically. I know you disagree with that.
So far
I know you disagree with that. It is far away. It's a 5-hour flight, basically, or 4-hour flight to Sydney. Like you have to do that every couple of weeks.
Oh.
And if you're not making the top 17, where are you even based? Because they're North Sydney Bears. Like, how does that all work? Where are they training? There's a lot of things that got to sort out there.
No,
but they've got a jersey sponsor anyway, which is good.
That's good.
You know, Budget Direct on the
nice
on the shoulder. Good on them. No, but other player movement stuff. So yeah, Cam Munster staying. It also looks like Harry Grant.
Yeah, I think that was always going to be
Always
given.
gonna
He was
happen.
never going to leave.
Yep, and Jarome Luai has committed to the West Tigers, Jimmy.
All right, nice. So his
Yeah.
clauses are gone.
They're not gone, but he said he's not going anywhere.
All right, well, fair enough.
Yeah, which is big for them. It's huge.
Huge, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. It's a big year for the Tigers. You know, they've come a long way in a short time, and the last thing they need is distraction. So I reckon that's brilliant news for the Tigers and their fans, and for Benji, they can give it a real push to make the 8.
Yeah.
Real push.
To make the 8.
That'll be the push, yeah.
You think I can make the 8 though?
I don't know.
They got the fourth hardest draw.
Yeah, I don't know if they can, but internally they'll be going, we can push. We can push.
Yeah, because a lot of teams are going to get better. Like, it's not just the Tigers going to get better. The Dolphins should improve.
I've already said this, like next year's comp, I'm not doing a predictor.
You got to do it.
No,
mate.
I'm not.
You've got it. It's your job. It's your job. And you've got
right. Well, I'll go a deep dive.
Like Spoon right now would be hard, but yeah, top 8's going to be hard, mate. It's all going to be
insane.
hard.
Yeah, it is.
There's actually there could be 15 decent teams.
Yeah.
And then I think the Dragons are probably going to be rubbish. I think the Knights are going to improve, but their forward pack's still probably...
Yeah, well, again, we don't know who's... There's a team that could tank. There's the Knights could surprise everyone, like that backs against the wall attitude, Justin Holbrook, and like you just don't know.
Homer and Brown, the connection could be really good. Who knows?
Yeah.
So on a positive-ish note, Eliesa Katoa is back now in Australia.
Yeah.
He's smiling. He's still actually in hospital in Australia currently, but he's smiling. He's talking. So there's some positive signs there. It's going to be a long journey for him, though.
Yeah, it is. And I think, you know, sometimes with head injuries, you know, we see the reports, the data, and some of the long-term consequences. But when one is so severe, short-term consequence, that makes everybody stand up. And I think this could have huge ramifications for what is how the game looks potentially, but certainly the education piece to the players.
Yeah,
certainly. And look, in any incidence of concussion, I always say you need to be honest with each other. Like you need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with your medical staff. You need to be honest with your teammates. Your teammates need to be honest with you. It's not blaming anyone. It's just always what I say about concussion. The best thing is honesty. And this Eli Katoa situation it's in your face. It's so hard to watch, so hard to witness. We're never going to be perfect as a game. That's almost impossible. But I think we'll see maybe some changes and arguably more acceptance of that change.
Yeah, and also like, you know, I think the NRL findings are going to come out soon once they've spoken to Eliesa Katoa. I think they want to speak to him first.
Yeah, of course you will. Yeah, you have to. You have to speak to him.
But it's going to be a long journey back. Long journey back.
It is, and like it's a health first. It's not about getting back to play. They have to speak to Eli Katoa, and maybe even, you know, when look, I think I said this last week, Charlie, where I've been there before, played on when I shouldn't have, because I was playing for my country.
Yeah,
and I'm not paying the price like Eli Katoa, and I'm not saying that he did play on. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I understand the pressure on a young man to an internal pressure and maybe some external as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But to just I'm fine. I'm gonna continue on. I can't you know.
Well, he was cleared by the doctors. Is the reality.
Well, and maybe this is where I'm looking at about that honesty piece.
And it needs to just be stricter. I think it can't just be reliant to the players. You know.
No, but I think unfortunately, Charlie, I think there is an over reliance on the doctor to diagnose, and this isn't like a game of
but that's
blame.
Their job. That's the only reason they're there. Is to judge things like that. That's their job.
There is, but again, like I know I can disguise a concussion test.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah. But the brutal force of the hit should have been enough to.
Yeah, it arguably should have.
Like,
Yeah.
he shouldn't have gone back out there at the end of the day.
From which one?
From I think the first one,
The warm-up.
pre-game. Yeah. It's brutal hit.
Yeah.
And the medical staff ultimately are the ones responsible. Because it's not up to Elliot. You can't listen to what Elliot Katoa was saying as the doctors, as the trainers, if that's what he's saying. We don't actually know yet.
Yeah,
it's not out that. It's not out yet.
But I think, look, our thoughts are with him. Glad that he's on the road to recovery. Never mind playing. Just it's great to see.
Yeah, footy doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant, isn't it? Really. Before we go, Jimmy, your chat with Kyle Amor you've received some backlash over it.
Oh, not backlash. Just, mate. Have you ever seen like people misremembering things or like the lack? And you've heard reports where the lack of credibility on eyewitness reports.
Yeah,
and you always go like, nah, that'll never happen to me. Like throughout my football career, a lot of it blends into sort of one, but the few things like stand out. So I was speaking about the 2008 World Cup, and there was elements of that like I was very critical of, and I still am, and I stand by those comments around how Tony Smith got it completely wrong. The big rivalry between Leeds and St Helens, but I thought there was a player from Leeds in the squad that wasn't in the squad. Right. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I thought Tony Smith was the coach of Leeds, and he wasn't. I'm like, no, I'm sure that he was, but he wasn't. So I'm holding my hands and saying I was wrong on those elements. But that said, Tony Smith did still completely balls up that World Cup squad in not bringing us together. I know that is true, that we didn't get connected as a team, and he thought he could outcoach. There were just a few details within that blared into different series.
Well, that happens more than you think. There's actually a podcast / like social content page called HRMC, where he basically is this young guy in England who finds podcast clips that soccer players, the football players, have said something and then corrects them. I think there was one where Lee Clark said he man-marked Zidane in a Champions League game, and he never had played Champions League football before. There was...
Did he play against Zidane though? Like that? So it's funny how you misremember it.
I don't know. He might have done, but I can't remember for that.
You can't misremember playing against Zidane.
Yeah.
Like that's like... Whether it's in the Champions League or whatever. But
that could just be salt and pepper. You never know, mate. Could have had a dream about it and they've gone, oh, yeah.
There's again, look, I've misremembered parts of it, but the fundamental core of the point I was trying to make is true.
But this HMRC page is good. It's worth checking out. There's some great ones. There's, when Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored that bicycle kick for England, for against England.
For
Sweden. Yeah, against England. He scored that crazy goal. Bobby Zamora spoke about being on the field. He wasn't even in the squad for the game.
Really?
He wasn't even in the squad.
Really?
Yeah. So like it happens. Like they might just be talking bollocks, and this guy's calling them out, and it might just be misremembering.
I mean, I've know plenty of people that put GST or VAT on their stories.
You got to put a bit of GST on.
Yeah. I was there. Yeah. I mean, but then you've got people fact checking you. I mean, But I was gutted with myself, like misremembering things. But just on England, a lot of chat about Sean Wayne, and his future. They're going to have a review. I've been thinking about a person to bring in, not just for coaching, but for credibility and for the reach that he would have and the impact. Andy Farrell. Bring him back.
Is he no longer the Lions coach, or is he still Lions coach?
Lions coach is only every 4 years.
Okay.
Bring him in. Bring him back. Could you imagine what that would do for English Rugby League? That bring some of those, like, I reckon people would want to watch that the rugby union fans. Andy Farrell's going back to coach England, or to help with England.
You're just trying to deflect off you, mate.
No, bring Andy Farrell in.
Yeah, no, he'd be great. He'd be great. With you and Sammy Burgess as assistant coaches.
Shut up, you muppet. Just on that about being in England, and there's a lot of division there at the minute, and I just want to say this, that I was shattered and so disappointed and in a bit of disbelief, really. So it was the 11th of November. I was staying at my sister's in a decent sized town called Ormskirk when I met a mate for coffee. And I'm not going to say I was planning to go to this because I wasn't. I actually left the coffee. Instead of walking to my sister's, I was going to a shop to buy a bottle of Dutch Barn vodka. Ricky Gervais'
vodka.
Yeah,
Shout out Ricky Gervais.
Look, it's not available in Australia. That's why I went to buy it in England. Maybe someone could get in touch with Ricky and say we could be the official suppliers of
the Byron could do that.
Dutch Barn. We're in the market for an alcohol partner.
Yeah,
we're having a few conversations here and there. But if Dutch Barn come, like we abandon ship, we go to Dutch Barn.
Straight to them. Yeah.
I'm on the way to the shop to buy a bottle of Dutch Barn vodka. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? It's Armistice Day. I think I'm saying that right.
Armistice.
Sorry. The 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month. They had Remembrance Sunday, but it's that time of year where I compare that to Anzac Day in Australia and how that brings people together. Like people that lost their lives at war, people get up and go to the dawn service. And, you know, some people do, some people don't. But I'll tell you what, you'd get up if there was a morning flight that you had to catch. So I encourage more and more Kiwi and Australians to go and attend the dawn service. But man, I was at this place in Ormskirk. There's like 100 people there.
Is this a big town? Is it like
it's big enough, mate, that you should have more than 100 people there?
Yeah, wow.
Like I spoke to a few. One of my nephews at school. He said that he's only in reception or in kindy, but he said, "Oh, we did a thing. We stopped." And I messaged one of my mates who's a teacher. He said they did a little bit, but you want to get people together and start to have some powerful reflection on what it means to be English or England or live in England or Great Britain. How about like businesses and things stop at 10:45 on the 11th of November and reopen at 11:15, and everyone can go to places to remember and just stop. Like it was, I can, and I said, like, I love it here in Australia. I do. I call it home. It's such a strange saying to say I'm leaving home to come home. Like, and one of the things I love is how they remember their fallen. Like obviously going to Gallipoli, it's fresh in the mind as well. And yeah, Remembrance Sunday, there's a little bit of things going on there. But Anzac Day, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, people stop. It doesn't move around because it's convenient. So whatever the day, the 11th of November falls on, how about England and Britain stops?
Yeah.
Like, and people go to, like, there's a memorial there in this town called Ormskirk, and mate, it was 100 people. It felt like I was embarrassed for the people there talking.
Yeah.
It's like it deserves better. I'm embarrassed for the people that, like, actually, like, aren't remembered anymore. Like, it's not fair on them. Like,
yeah.
I've been to many a World War I and World War II monuments. And again, look, I was completely forgotten, but it's the point I'm trying to make. It's not ingrained in the culture there anymore to stop for this day, where here in Australia, it's ingrained in the culture of Australian Kiwis, no matter your background. That's like, we stop and we say thanks. And we just put our lives on pause for a minute. And obviously it's a big day, but for half an hour, just England actually stop and go and remember. Yeah. It was so poorly attended. Like it actually pissed me off, man. Like that Australia do it so well and we don't. And people might come back and say, well, we have Remembrance Sunday and you didn't remember to go, but it's not ingrained in the culture.
Yeah.
Like if you actually make people stop, shut businesses, get schools, instead of having an assembly, go to these memorials, and then maybe it'll mean more.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll start to ingrain a bit of like national pride and a bit of togetherness as like, oh, like no matter your race, your creed, your colour, your religious background, everybody went.
Yeah.
Everybody went. It didn't matter. Like when that whistle went, you were going over the top.
Yeah.
There was no. That was actually a time when we came together to fight a common enemy that we're like trying to invade. It is,
and that we're sort of all reaping the benefits from today, mate, the way the world is because of those wars that were fought. The world would be completely different.
Mate, it doesn't bear thinking about what it'd be like if you know look, and I'm not saying that we spoke before about middle management decisions. Some of the decisions and the horrors of war. You look back and you go, were England guilty of mismanaging hundreds of thousands of yes, they were. But this is the complex nature of war, and the lives lost are horrendous, and some of the poor decision making.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, we beat them twice.
Some of those heartbreaking stories. Well, obviously, November 11, 1918 was the end of World War One, but the wars kept on being fought for years and years and years after that date because the message didn't get to those battle stations that the war was over. How sad is that and tragic is that? There's so many moments, there's so many sad stories along it and heroic stories as well. But
fundamentally, England, Great Britain, get your act together and stop for half an hour, one day a year.
Yeah.
It
was
not
hard.
Joke.
Not hard at all.
Absolute joke. It was so frustrating and annoying.
Yeah.
On
that positive note. Well said. But yeah, that's all. That's all from us, Jimmy.
That's all, Charlie. Looking forward to more roundtables.
Yeah. So the R360. So there's basically 3 episodes of the panel left, the proper panel show, which it will be R360. Top coming out Thursday. We've got officiating, the refereeing, bunker, match review committee, all that jazz coming out the week after, and then we've got like a biggest issues in the game for some of the stuff we haven't got to that's really big and important. And then the final episode will be like you with some other content creators, like we did last year with Tom Birmingham, Rugby League Guru, Winston Neville. So plenty more of that stuff to come. More of the Sunday shows to come as well. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep pumping out the content. So thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you soon.